Hi, y'all. Welcome and welcome back. Today we're breaking down a famous short talk by philosopher Alan Watts, If Money Was No Object. This will help us practice one of the most important skills in philosophy, identifying and reconstructing arguments so we can evaluate them clearly. Keep this question in mind throughout the lesson. If money were no object, what would you do with your life? To remind you of our process, first we identify the parts of the argument. Start with the conclusion, then move on to the premises. Next, put the argument into standard argument form. Last, we analyze the argument. In this video, we will focus on identifying the parts of a complex argument and diagramming them. A little reminder about videos. In this video, we're talking about complex philosophical arguments. In other videos, we've talked about simple philosophical arguments, how to identify the parts of the arguments, and how to put those arguments into standard argument form. Here are a couple of those videos in case you need to refer to them. Complex arguments can seem intimidating at first, but they're easier to understand if we think of them as a big argument made up of smaller ones. The premises of the main argument in a complex argument are usually themselves the conclusions of other smaller arguments. This means you can work backwards. First, find the main conclusion, then identify its premises. Next, for each premise, imagine it as a conclusion to its own smaller argument or mini-argument, and look for the premises that support it. This way, you're breaking the bigger argument into smaller, more easily manageable pieces. Here's a diagram to help us visualize the basic structure of complex arguments. As we can see at the top in the green box, we have the main conclusion, the main point of the complex argument, the big argument. Below that, holding up the main conclusion, are the premises for the main argument. They're those blue boxes with the arrows pointing to the main conclusion. Our next step is to treat each of the premises for the main argument as a conclusion for its own smaller argument or mini-argument. Below the blue boxes, we see arrows coming from those pinkish red boxes which contain the premises for the mini-arguments. I really like this style of argument diagram because it visually shows us how the premises support the conclusion. Meet Alan Watts, one of my favorite philosophers. Alan Watts was a British philosopher best known for making complex ideas accessible and introducing many in the US to Eastern philosophy. In If Money Was No Object, he challenges conventional career advice. He suggests that pursuing what you love is more valuable than chasing financial gain. One of the most impactful lines is, "Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way." This is a cute cartoon that represents Watts' ideas. For those who are listening but unable to watch, the cartoon shows Alan Watts talking to one of his students. Alan Watts says, "What would you like to do if money were no object?" And "How would you really enjoy spending your life?" These are questions worthy of consideration, and we will consider these questions in a different video, but right now we're focusing on breaking down this complex argument. Let's get started. Our steps for breaking down complex arguments are: 1. Find the conclusion. 2. Identify the premises. 3. Translate into clear sentences. And 4. Reorder logically. Our first step is to find the conclusion. We can look for the conclusion indicators like therefore or so. The therefore game is simple. Try adding the word therefore in front of each statement in the talk. Which one makes the most sense? In this case, therefore, you should seek a career in doing what you really want to do. So, now that we have the main conclusion, we need to find the premises, the reasons that support the main conclusion. Ask yourself, why should I believe this conclusion? Look for phrases that start with because or ideas that provide evidence. After reviewing the video, if money was no object and its transcript, here are the premises. 1. Spending your life focused on getting money is a waste of time. 2. Chasing money rather than doing what you enjoy is not smart. 3. Better to have a short life doing what you like than a long life in misery. 4. You can earn a living doing what you enjoy. 5. Mastery of what you love can eventually pay well. Those of you who are in my classes will be able to see the detailed document explaining how I broke this argument down into these premises on our class website. Take a look at the lesson on complex philosophical arguments. Those of you who are not in my classes, if you would like a more detailed explanation, let me know in the comments. This video is already going to be longer than most of our videos, so we did not include that detailed breakdown. But if you all want it, I can make another longer video breaking it down. Like I said, just let me know. Thank you. Okay, onward. Here's how we translate a quote into a clear premise. Watts says, if you say that getting money is the most important thing, you will spend your life wasting your time. We rewrite it simply as, spending your life focused on money is a waste of time. This makes the reasoning easier to see. Once we have all the premises, we put them in an order that makes the reasoning flow naturally. This makes the argument easier to follow and evaluate. As we saw earlier, visualizing an argument helps make the reasoning structure clear. Here's another way to diagram an argument. Imagine arrows from each premise pointing towards the conclusion. That's how the support works. Like I said earlier, I prefer the tent diagram over this style, but that's just personal preference. You choose what works for you. Now that we have the main argument, or big argument, broken down, we can move into the smaller arguments / sub-arguments / mini-arguments that create the big complex argument. This is the first mini-argument inside Watts's bigger argument. Here, premise 1 is acting like a conclusion. Spending your life focused on getting money is a waste of time. Watts supports it by pointing out that chasing money often means doing things you dislike just to survive, which in his view makes the time spent meaningless. The main conclusion for the first mini-argument, which is premise 1 in the big argument, is spending your life focused on getting money is a waste of time. The premises that support this conclusion are, if you focus only on money, you end up doing things you don't like. Doing things you don't like just to keep living is pointless. A life of doing what you dislike is not worth the time. Here is our tent diagram of that first mini argument. As you see, the conclusion is in the green box. Below it, in the blue boxes with the arrows pointing up to the conclusion, we have the three premises. Again, with this type of diagram, we can visualize how the premises support the conclusion. Watts's second mini-argument focuses on wisdom. It's not smart to choose money over passion. He reasons that passion leads to mastery, and mastery can eventually bring financial reward. In other words, even if money matters, chasing it directly isn't the best strategy. The main conclusion for the second mini-argument, which is premise 2 in the big argument, is chasing money rather than doing what you enjoy is not smart. The premises that support this conclusion are, if you choose money over enjoyment, you will likely spend your life unhappy. People tend to perform better and master skills when they enjoy what they do. Mastery and passion can eventually lead to earning money anyway. Again, we have our tent diagram with the conclusion in the green box, and below it in the blue boxes with the arrows pointing to the conclusion, we have the three premises. The third mini-argument is about quality over quantity. Watts believes that even a short life, if filled with meaningful and enjoyable activities, is preferable to a longer life of misery. This frames his advice as not just practical, but deeply philosophical. The main conclusion for mini-argument 3, which is the main argument's premise 3, is better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. Its supporting premises are, life is finite, the quality of your time matters more than the length. Enjoyment and fulfillment make life meaningful. A long life without joy is just prolonged unhappiness. Here is our tent diagram for the third mini argument. Like before, the conclusion is in the green box at the top, supported by the premises in the blue boxes below, which have arrows leading to the conclusion. That was our detailed breakdown of the first three premises. Now that you've been through the process, I encourage you to complete the last two premises on your own. Try breaking down the last two mini arguments and making tent diagrams for them. The link for the video is in the description for this one. Keep in mind the steps for breaking down complex arguments. First, find the conclusion. Second, identify the premises. Third, translate into clear sentences. Fourth, reorder logically. Then you do this again for each of the conclusions and premises for the mini or sub-arguments. We've walked through identifying and reconstructing an argument step by step. Perhaps some of you are wondering, what would you do if money was no object? All right, y'all, that's all we have for now. If you made it all the way through this video, thanks for sticking with me. If you're interested in more videos about philosophy and ethics, check out the videos posted on our channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.